Hey everyone, it's Joe Lyons here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, and Jackie Sztuk here from Copenhagen, Denmark.
So the other day, someone wrote and asked about being able to drag and drop within BlueStacks, and they were wondering if we could kind of do a demo on it. And so Jackie has a lot more experience in doing this kind of stuff than I do. So Jackie's gonna kind of work through it here. We haven't, this, just so you understand, this is all live. We haven't actually tried anything.
Nope, exactly. We're just gonna try different commands and see if we can make something work. Hopefully it will be straightforward. If not, we'll try a few different things.
And for those of you who don't understand, BlueStacks is just an Android emulator, right? So it's mimicking having an Android cell phone playing a game or whatever you want on the Android, phone.
Yeah, exactly. So currently we have loaded up some kind of version of a candy game. So just to have something you can actually drag in. It could have been anything. I know we talked about LinkedIn or whatever, Facebook. If you actually had something you needed to drag in, this was just one of the first things we thought about when thinking about dragging on an Android device. So let's see if we can't make that happen. First, we'll start by maybe going with a script over here that you have made, Joe, right? And
yeah, I contributed. There's the first line, but that's my work.
Yeah, my first go-to thing would be control clicks, just to see if that command would work, right? So we could actually click somewhere. And here, just going with the position, because in something like this, it's only graphics like in any other game. There ain't really any controls to narrow down where you're clicking. So you will want to click at a specific coordinate within the control. We'll figure those out in a moment. And the window title, we'll get that with our good friend Windows Spy here. And if I point at BlueStacks, I can copy these over.
And if you're new, when that Windows Spy tool comes with AutoHotkey, right? It's built into it.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
And here, which class to go with and all that stuff here. I think we'll just go with BlueStacks as the name, and maybe the HK exit here, and taking that away. If you have a better, more narrowed down control to try and click in, go with that. But yeah. And which button, we could let it just do the default, but in this case, we'll want to be using the left button, and the click count doesn't really matter, but the options, this is where we'd want it to keep the button down. And if I don't remember incorrectly, I think you can do a D for down. And if we just take a copy of this one and do another one and say U for up, then we'll have the two options, the down and the up. And that's all that a drag really is, a down and an up. And in between, you have maybe you have a sleep, you have some time between them. Here we'll make it a second. Just that might be too long, but just to do something. And the way to make it seem, the simplest way to make it seem as if you made a dragging action would just be to use two different coordinates between the down and the up. Hopefully we can make that work. without having to tell it anything about the mouse moving. Let's see if we can't figure out some coordinates. I'm just thinking about this last one down here. If we go from that one, in this case, I'm just looking. We would want to maybe drag from the middle of this one. Does that work? Oh, it didn't actually let me let go of the button before it did it. Maybe because I'm controlling it from my end and not from yours, Joe.
Yeah.
But if you did it for this one over here,
yeah,
and just didn't let go of the button, it just does it.
It's still down. Okay. Yeah.
So
it'll still work though, right? Because it's still the dragging. Clearly the mouse has to be down, because if I click it and then let go, it wouldn't like click and let go. It won't do anything. So you still have to be dragging it.
Yeah, if we made a wrong drag, like if I might try to move those,
yeah,
it seems to act just by me making the move with the mouse button down. So it might be doing things that we don't know yet. But let's try and figure out some coordinates here. So if I just point at this, it seems to be, if I look at the client coordinates, I would believe those would be the most correct in this one. So we want to send them at 480. So
just so we can all learn, including me on this, down below there was the mouse position, and then there was the active window position, and were you looking at the mouse position? And even then there's the window and the client.
Because you can't see it, but here I'm trying to, you probably can see my mouse recorded. So I looked at this line here.
Yeah.
You also have the screen, but when you're doing control clicks, the screen doesn't really make sense because you're clicking within a specific controls area.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the screen and seeing those, that would make it click somewhere weird. You would need to use the window or the client as a minimum, because you're clicking within the client or window area somewhere.
Yeah, but the reason why I was saying is because client is also listed under the other two things down below, right? So
yeah,
just FYI, that's why I'm like, wait a minute, I see three things to say client.
Yeah, this one that says client here and here, one is talking about the control below here, and this one further down is talking about the size of the client area of the window, right? But let's try and go with the coordinates I had first found, 480 and times this, and let's see if we do another one of those. We'll see what's the position of this one. It says, click it, and it says 522, just about the same, 333. So it's the x-axis that we're moving along. So if we set that number a bit higher, to like 520, like so, these two actions will happen at different places within this window. Let's see if we can't just simply save and run that and see if it actually does anything. Just keep our eye on the BlueStacks window. And now more than a second has passed and apparently nothing has happened. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
So even if I just click on something and hold the mouse down, I can't see it. Oh, it did something there.
Yeah.
I had let go of the button long ago, but because I'm on this other end, it might not be So might be interesting to try and click that one. That's just an up and down action, just to see if our clicks can work. So at the client spot, maybe 50 times 466. 70. Let's go with 50, 470. So we'll change these coordinates here to 50 and 475. That's fair enough. I'll just comment out this one. Oh, apparently it's, I need to slow myself down.
Yeah.
And I'll remove the down. This will make AutoHotkey make sure that it's a full up and down event that happens. Let's see if that works, just as an attempt. Run.
Yeah. Nice.
Apparently it's accepting that simple clicking action. So now we at least know it can accept our clicks, and our coordinates here ain't fully off because I actually hit the button. So we're just about where we want to be. The next part would be to actually click on something and then move the mouse.
Sorry, Jackie, I wanted to also mention, you're using ControlClick, and I know we covered this in some other podcasts and I think webinars, but it's not trying to say it's different. I think when I said before it's better, and you're like, well, it's just different, right? Than sending a mouse click. One of the really nice things is it doesn't interrupt. You can be using your computer, right, and it doesn't take the focus away from the user, right? Is a really great.
That is probably the main point. If I just ran this again, it would be closing it off. So it is clicking at about the spot that we have measured out. So that seems to be working well. So we can click stuff straight up. The next part is apparently this thing here we were trying to do with clicking on the blue one and moving it like that. So I can click it and I can move my mouse wherever I want with the mouse button down. And as soon as the mouse had moved up, when I released it, it apparently saw that had happened.
That's interesting.
So, so the up one here could probably be used. Let's try and take this one over here, the yellow one, and move that up there. So we'll take some new coordinates, and this time they're 570 or something. Yeah, and 230. 570, 230. That's where we want to initialize our move from. And again, I would like to just try with this one where we would move it some space and make the up happen, right? So I'll go with the down. Maybe I should look at if the options are really U and Y.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
So if we look at options down here.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Fair enough. Then there's some NA, may improve reliability, okay, fair enough. That's some no activation or whatever. Let's go with, I'm just making these the same. 230. So if we wanted to move this up, like so, it would instead become 180. So this one would be 180. And maybe making this 1,000 is too much. This is pretty quickly. That's a fast move, right? Let's see if it eats it that way. Apparently not. So making that simple action here with the down and the up doesn't seem to be enough. Can you open the help file, or did I close it?
It's still open. Hold
on. I was like, I don't remember if it had. No. Probably need to use the Sendmessage mouse move in between here or before this one.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So let's just put in some small values here to have small stuff happening, and then we'll try with the send message. And mouse move is 200. I can't remember. I don't remember exactly. Can you open the AutoHotkey form or something, Joe?
The what? The help?
No, just the AutoHotkey form.
Yeah. Right.
Make a small search. I don't remember if the send message actually has mouse event examples. It might have. Could look in the help file, see if it has. Try and pop up the help file again, Joe. And let's see if
And why did you switch to mouse send message instead of using like a mouse move? Is mouse move very similar to the? No, it's not similar to the control.
No, the thing is, you don't have a control move command.
Yep.
And normally, if you were actually moving the mouse, you would just use a mouse move. But if you were sending click commands where the mouse was allowed to move, Windows would actually be moving the mouse. So you wouldn't need to tell the window that the mouse was moving, because that would be essentially what happened between your clicks. But because this is much more in depth with the control clicks, you're just telling the window, I clicked there.
Okay.
But the window doesn't have a physical pointer to actually measure the click or any moves that happen between the two clicks. So if you don't specifically tell it what happens between the two clicks, it has no idea that any kind of moving action might have happened. So
Okay.
That's why we are now trying to see if we can trick it into believing that a move actually happened.
Cool.
By using a move, sending in that, hey, the mouse moved over your window. I'm just seeing here if we have one. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, there's a quick look. Can you find what's this? Tutorial. Ah, there might be something in this tutorial. Still not. No, just pop up the forum, Joe.
Sorry, go back to the forum. So we said.
Yeah, please.
There you
go. Go to home here. And So here we have the mouse, the set cursor, mouse move there. So doesn't actually tell us the message number. So let's just say VM, and then still not with the number. What's
Here, let me do something. Here, type it there. This will search the forum as well as Stack Overflow.
So as you can see there, the mouse move is still the 200, but I want to know the V param and the L param. Irritating. That's the post message, yeah. Let's do it. Let's make it even harder. Okay, you know what? I'll do something on my machine here. Because I actually know I have examples of it. Hey, I found what I needed to find. So
cool.
Let's see here. I'll just need to find the script here. It's over here. This is with post message, but apparently I can't copy over stuff like that. So I'll just look here what I did. I think I'll switch this to post message. Again, this is still not tested. This is for something else that I found.
Right.
Make this into the hex version of that. And the L param in this case will be 1, just to say there's not really anything other than the left mouse button down. And then you have the more involved one where you're actually telling it the coordinates, and that's where it might start looking a bit weird. But that was what I was looking for on the forum, but apparently I couldn't find it. X1 this is some bit shifting, and it looks really weird, but you don't really need to know anything other than this works, and I'll show what part of it is that works in a moment. Y1. I'll just type this out. Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong way around. No. Apparently I can't. I want the...
That?
Yeah, exactly. 16 here. And if we do it, I'll have a extra percentage, or what's those called?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, yeah. This here is a way to make Postmessage understand that this is the lower point of the long and this is the upper point. But if I want it to convert this, I'll make two variables, x1, and then just type in 550, right? And we'll shift those in a moment.
Right.
And I'll make y1 and let that be 230. And this piece of code here will just make it work with the mouse move command. You can find that on the forum, and there will be lots of explanations. And it's a bit late here, so I'm not going to go into it because I'll probably say something wrong.
Yeah, no worries. But for whatever reason, this is where, like this and DLL calls, you need to do a little advanced stuff to work with these things. Is that right?
Yeah. And we'll just use the same title for the control for now, or for the window title, of course, like so. That should be that part if we just wanted to send a mouse move to that exact location. But if we actually wanted to make the mouse move a bit, we would change this to the 180 instead. We will move this up here. No, we can keep the up because it's okay. It has actually moved to that location, and then there was an up action. You could also make it move a bit less and have the up action happen at a bit of another coordinate. Now I'll remove this. I'll click over here.
And you're also leaving line 4. Is that right?
Yeah, that's for the down.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Of the key so that it knows where to initialize it. That happens on the yellow one. And then we have used some new coordinates and tell it to move, or that the mouse moved at this point. We're not really moving the mouse or anything like that. We're just telling the window, hey, the mouse cursor actually what was at this point right now.
Cool.
Right. Okay. Let's see if that works. Save. And
just for this game, we probably didn't need the up, right? Because of how the game's working. But
yeah, we'll see if it takes it.
Oh.
Apparently it didn't. So for whatever reason, it's not eating that part of it, and apparently that's how that is. But if I'm trying to remove some of this bottom stuff, but it's hard to actually hit stuff with this delay. So that part of us doing these different things here wasn't enough for it to accept that those things happened. And maybe we can try and do it on a lower control on the top one here, just to try that out.
Okay.
So if we instead go for the window spy, the one we just had, the small one here, just the small one, the normal one. Can you, down here, when we pointed this, down here, we actually have some more information.
Oh, look at that.
The control.
Yeah.
And if I'll just copy in the information over here to have it. If I look at that here, to me the class NN, the BlueStacks app 1, should be something I can use as the control to interact with. And on ControlClick here, you have the actual control or position. And then you have the window title. But on the Postmessage here, you actually have a specific one for the control. So you have Postmessage, you have the actual message, to have the L param, you have the control here. So if we try and put in the BlueStacks app 1 here, let's see if that does anything. I'll just comment out these. Still really didn't do anything. I can make that action. Do I need to do it enough, or am I not making a far enough
movement? I would think you are, because when we were testing the real, on ones that disappeared, it didn't get that far over and it disappeared.
Yeah, if I'm clicking at the middle of the one yellow, and I need to get to at least the middle of the next yellow for it to make it happen, and with the mouse constantly down. So it's like, let's try and measure that out here. So it's saying, I'll just wanted to make those actually interact, right? So I'll go with the 470. 470 here, 470. And then at the middle of them, it's saying, it's saying 177. So maybe just 180. And this one can be 180 as well. And the next one says, so it's the x-axis. So if we overextend our move a bit and say maybe 540 for the mouse move, 540. So now we're making quite a large over move, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you could probably have multiple of these post messages. It may or may not be needed, but you could have like sleep 50 and have multiple of these mouse moves happen. And this one would be at let's say 500, and that one would be at 540, and so on and so forth. Whatever incentives you want it to have in it. Save.
And you were saying that because you think it might be needed for an order. Oh no. Sorry.
No, I haven't done anything.
Yeah, okay. It almost looked like it was trying. Oh.
Yeah. It's not really happening with the post message.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can make something happen with the send message instead. Sometimes that can also have
and one of them, the main difference is one of them waits for something to get returned. Is that right?
Yeah. There is some subtle differences, but don't think it really matters in this case, but worth trying it out. So BlueStacks app 1 is the control. If we look at the control click here, I don't believe that you might have in the help file here under control click as one of the options if you use pose. That only really matters. Okay. Specify the NX position to click at relative to the control upper left corner. If unspecified, the quick will occur at the horizontal center of the control. Okay, so if we put in, we move these to this place here, and we instead put in this BlueStacks app 1. As the control here. I'll do the same down here and move this back. Save and run. It activated the BlueStacks window.
Yeah.
That much I did see it do.
Right.
So if we try and say NA and NA here to see if we can make it not activate the window, just with an attempt of seeing if that makes a difference. It didn't interact with the things that we wanted it to interact with, but at least we didn't activate the window.
Right.
One thing we could do just to see if it will take our actions while not activating the window would be to just take this top one here, copy it up here as a singularity and have a return happen. Then the rest of it won't matter. And shifting the position that we now wanted to click at to the 50 times 470, 480. Let's try with 480. And then just run that. Save and run. So this way of doing it has actually made it work less well than the original version we had of having these.
Yeah.
Up here. But if I try before I go all the way back and maybe remove this D to have it make the full action. Let's see if that's enough. No. Okay, so we'll move these up to the front here. Remove that, like so.
Why did you want to add the NA?
To have it not activate the BlueStacks window. If you have the BlueStacks window in the background and that's what you want it to stay back there, you don't want your control action to actually activate the window because that will bring it to the front.
It was just a preference. It's not you were thinking it might solve something. You just thought we don't want it to be activated.
Yeah, maybe it might do something, but in general, it's just that it should keep the window in the back.
Okay.
And I'm just keeping an eye on the window, staying behind the other
Right.
one down here. So when I save and run this, it should turn off this menu part that we've gotten shown, but without activating the BlueStacks window. So we now know that this line, as it is, works for clicking a single item. Our biggest issue now is how to make drags happen. And apparently the things that we have tried up until now with the other ones here hasn't worked. But what I would like to maybe do was figure out if our send message actually works. If we did the click instead of using ControlClick to do it, we would use the send message to do it. Can you find here send message and see if it has any kind of interesting? None of them has these mouse events, but can you pull up your search window from before and say I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but
That WN is the
Windows Manager or message.
and it's a con, and then but we'd still have to look up the actual number for it. Is that right? Or no?
Yeah, we'd need to know the number.
No.
I was hoping that mouse click would work, but I don't remember what the correct VM message is for mouse buttons. I've already been inside these, haven't I? That's still the mouse move, mouse leave. I do believe that they're like OX201, something like that. Where here he has a post click where you can see that the down is the 200 and one, and the up is that one, right? So if we just take this piece of code to save ourselves some time, and I need to switch over here. I'll comment out this one just and put in this stuff. And we'll go with these coordinates, 50 and 480. And instead of having untitled thingy, we'll go with this one here. This is just to test out the code that we've now copied in, right?
Sure.
So I'll save and I'll run, and it should pop up that small menu. And it didn't actually pop up that small menu, which is a little bit weird. So if I do so, the message, the V param, the L param, the control, and the window title. So what are we missing here? We ain't really missing anything, are we?
Jackie, is there any, before we started recording, we did talk about the lower levels of controls. Is that something we should look at?
I am not sure that would really help us here.
Okay. Then keep going however you're going. Just like
yeah, we might really not solve it when it comes to it, but to me, this post click here is pretty much this control click without maybe the NA, right? I think that OX1 might tell it that it's the left, but I think that's default, so I don't think that's actually needed.
And to further educate myself, you're saying that control click is very similar to the post click we're doing here with the post messages, and basically, you know, Lexicos or someone has gone in, correct me if I'm wrong, and wrapped the post message into an AutoHotkey a command, and so we don't have to, on average, work with the post messages. We can use control click, and most of the time it works, and it's just easier to understand. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. So right now I'm a little bit unsure why it should just off the bat work, because there's not enough to really differentiate them. I can try and change this to the send version.
Is there any possibility that, like, I've run into this just with things that act weird, and should we restart BlueStacks? Is that a concern at all?
I think it's still accepting. That was me. If I had this one here instead, and I commented out that one and click save and click run, we'll most likely see it actually interact. So this control click one is working. This post or send message one right now isn't. And why there is a difference here, I'm not really sure, because we're using pretty much the same information. The NA isn't really the one that's making the difference here. To me, those are really, this control click might be populating or making the action bubble up to something that we don't know about, but that's because it's some code wrap that we don't know where this is more nitty-gritty, but should have for the most part just work. This is what we copied this from a question, right? So maybe we should read what the question was. Because
the question was, why doesn't this work? Yeah.
Can you shift us over to that window?
Yeah. Oh wait, not that one. You want the forum, right? Yeah.
Okay. Should we read it, all of it?
So he's adding the edit one in the control, then it works. The reference to the control.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading in my head here. So control click can work without using or action upon a control and using the XY coordinates. Yeah. Get that. Not sure what the end goal is with this. Maybe it's better to arrange the function to not use the XY coordinates. That's exactly what we want to do. But again, we just wanted to actually make a control click happen using send the post message. This doesn't really seem to answer that. Clicking on non-active window using post message. This is a pretty bad or old one, but Interesting. Again, this looks pretty much like the code we have.
Yeah.
I don't really see much difference here. What here? Oh, he has a 1 and a 0 there. There's down, there's not. And here he has the control on there as well. The class and the title. Okay, so this is a bunch of different things to try.
Yeah.
This is still the same, doesn't really matter. That's still the same. So it's just a matter of how much information he's giving it. Here he's getting the ID of the window before trying to do it and all that stuff. But it doesn't really seem to end up anywhere. So that's my own one. I needed yours. So over here, we can try and put in the 1 and the 0. I don't see any reason now why not to do that. Right. Save and run. Still not really getting it to the place we want it to be. If I wanted to put in the control for it to click, that would be the BlueStreak app one. Save and run. Still doesn't really work. So currently this other method, the one that I wanted to use with the mouse move,
right,
are not really making it happen in the BlueStacks window or BlueStacks window. And the ControlClick, where the easiest way of making it happen is just to use 2 different clicks, and down and an up event, because there is no event control thingy. You would need to use like the send or the post message. But as we haven't really solved how to make BlueStacks accept our messages, that's hard to say why we can't make those things happen. Then I'll remove this return and I'll take those away completely. Save, and I'll make those 2 control clicks down here, make those back into the versions we knew worked. So this one was 470. So do you still have numbers over here? I do. So away with those. I'll just try and run this one more time. Not that it will probably not do anything, but it closed the menu, which was just because somewhere else on the window was
sure to click. Yeah.
Yeah. So the click parts of it are still working.
Right.
But again, click, maybe that's down and that's up. How about just having it down here as well? Because the up is not needed. And
yeah, I kind of see.
Toggling those, and Yeah. Still not accepting it. If we make a hotkey here, we say F4, like so. Save, like that, and run. And I'll just, can you point your mouse above the green one that is with the yellows?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, I'm just not seeing. Okay, I'll press F4.
Yeah.
I just wanted sometimes, yeah. Did you see that?
I think that was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Yeah, try it again.
No, that is me.
Oh, that's you right now? Oh, okay.
So
sorry,
because the mouse pointer is now at the correct position in the window, the click down, the first line up here, this one, is telling BlueStacks that the click down is happening. And then BlueStacks is checking where is the mouse. But it is checking where is the physical mouse.
Yeah, gotcha.
And as soon as it checks where is the physical mouse, it gets the position that is in the correct direction. So we make the action actually happen. So that is why I was able to make to move like this by pressing F4, because half of our thing is working. And I'm probably not gonna get any closer right now.
Yeah.
The next part would be figuring out how to then cheat the program into believing that the physical mouse was in some different place. Yeah. Well, I think I'll have to close it there right now.
If you just activated BlueStacks, would that? No, because it's not the mouse, right? Okay.
Yeah, if we just wanted to move the physical mouse, all of this would be a moot point, because you could just do that and that would work straight off. The thing here is making stuff happen in the background, but still making the code that is running in BlueStacks that is keeping track of the real physical mouse, kind of tricking that into listening to your commands instead of in its own window hooks or whatever it is.
Well, would it be easy to do an actual mouse move, just as an example? Or is that
actually doing a mouse move? That's almost too simple, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, we just, if you don't mind, let's just do it real quick, just to show people, if they don't care about taking the focus away.
If you allowed this window to always be on top and didn't care, sure enough, you could use the much more simple mouse move. Or
Jackie, how about this? What we could do, which maybe is somewhere between us, is use mouse move to put it on the mouse onto the BlueStacks, window, and still then use the ControlClick for doing the stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you could probably go with, let's say you had this one, and you also had a sleep, and then you had mouse click, and you had some coordinates on that. You had, it's the L that you wanted to click, and you had the you can't actually. Oh, then you'd need to use the. Nah, it's not that simple. because we're now moving between two things that don't really ain't really used in combination. It would now, instead of being the client thing you would use, you would need to first make sure that a specific window was active, and then you could use the screen coordinates or the window coordinates or the client coordinates.
Okay.
But with just doing it straight up like this, we would need to use like set, not mouse delay, chord, or is it just chord mode? Yeah, like so, and then mouse, and let's say relative. Then the coordinates that we entered for the mouse would now be relative to the active window. And if we remove NA here, it should activate the window with our down click. And then we could, on the coordinates here, we could have the what was 540 and 180, like so. And then we could have the up, like so. Just for the fun of it, let's see if it accepts us doing it this way. So I'll save it and I'll run it. I'll move my mouse somewhere and I'll press F4 now. And it didn't even activate the window, the blue streaks window. So if I go in and activate the blue streak window, does anything happen? No. Where's your mouse, Joe?
It's on there. Try it again.
Okay. No. So with these additions, with either this one or that one, if we remove the chord mode like that and save. Oh, I didn't hit it correctly. Save and run. And I go and click there and I type F4. We ain't getting any actions now. Was that really because of adding in the mouse click here? And run. And something changed.
Okay, well, I know you're right. It is late for you. I didn't realize it was that late.
Was it the NA that changed?
Oh, you did take that off. Yeah.
So run, and your mouse cursor is where it was before.
Yeah.
And I'll click on F4, and it's still not doing it. I love stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's not worry about it. But it does get back, because even if we got it back to working, to your point, it wasn't actually, solved. So just getting it back to where it was doesn't help us a ton.
No, because if we just wanted to do the actions on the window and we didn't want the stuff to be happening in the background or anything like that, all of the control clicks and the send messages and all that stuff would be covered by mouse click drag, right? Pretty simple. Which button, the L button, from where to where, and you would be able to say, I want it to happen from 470 180 to 540 180. That would be it, and we could put this stuff up here back to make it relative. Save. Click on the BlueStacks window. Oh, I needed to run it first. So run with the new changes. Click here. Click F4, and then it would just do it. Right? It's not like. And that's where the control clicking and control dragging is. The control clicking works for the most part because the command send of the mouse click, that is what the window is listening for. But because mouse moves and stuff like that might be imprecise, or Windows might not always be sending them, some windows, like this BlueStacks window, apparently has their own built-in mouse monitor. And it, of course, tracks the real physical cursor, because why wouldn't it? That's what makes sense. So when we try to fake mouse movements, it's not accepting it until we figure out the correct amount or the exact parameters that we need to do for it to do it.
Well, what I found was interesting was, when we did our test where it worked, we had the mouse, we didn't have it on the spot. It was just on somewhere in the BlueStacks GUI.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it was in the correct direction.
Okay.
So what we figured out earlier was, as soon as you clicked on something and dragged it in the correct direction, it would do the action.
Right.
So because we clicked on the thing, and when it figured out where the real mouse was, it was the correct direction, so it made the action. If you had put your cursor on the other side, to the left of it, you would never have seen the drag happen, because it wouldn't have tried to do anything in the correct direction. Okay. It only did it because it believed that the mouse button was down for a very short amount of time. And when it asked where the mouse button or where the mouse was now,
it moved to
moved to the location that it believed it was in. So
okay.
Yeah. We can try and pick up on this again in another one, but yeah.
That was still, it was just the general concept of the whole approach of, first off, you could have solved this with this approach in less than a minute, right? If they didn't care about taking focus away from the user, and everything. But which and we know we talk a lot about it, right? We never like sending keystrokes if it's avoidable. In this case, it's not, but we were trying to do a little more sophisticated way.
If we wanted to do this truly in the background, we could use the AD data bridge and then just tell the window to do a drag action from this location to that. And all of this controlling, clicking stuff wouldn't have been an issue, because we could just have told Android to do the action for us.
Right.
The only issue with that is that the built-in method of sending input like that has a bit of overheat, so it might take about a second between each action, which is
for this game.
Most games and apps and whatever, that's a fair enough amount of time between actions. If you have something weirdly fast-paced, or if you're trying to optimize some kind of data entry or something, it might be a pain point, right?
And sorry for cutting you off. Previously we did a podcast discussing a whole different approach of basically mimicking like a keyboard, like a Bluetooth keyboard, and sending it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Would that also be an approach that's possible that would kind of negate this issue?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly the same thing, because you would, in essence, be connecting a Bluetooth device that would then straight up work within the Android screen area. Yeah. So the reason that these control clicks and things are failing is because of the control that BlueStacks is using.
Do you think there's any possibility that in BlueStacks there's a preference somewhere where you could tell it not to peek, at where the Windows stuff is? Or
no, it doesn't have that, because if we used, I know you have some different tools, Joe, to peek into the inner workings of this.
Yeah.
And we did that at some other point in time, and I do believe that this window is an SDL window. What's that? I don't remember. It's something with screen direct something, and it's a cross OS tool. So it's a piece of code that both works on Windows and on Macs and on Linux, and because of those things, it has these extra things built in to make it work better across all of these OSs. So you might still compile it for Windows or for Linux or whatever, but because it is, I think it's a C++ tool. I don't remember, but yeah.
Okay, and it because I get your logic there, because the core code is written in a standard thing, but there's an interpreter that, depending on the OS it's on, it peeks inside and it does some stuff for it, and that's why you can't turn that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Cool. Okay, well, thank you, Jackie. That was. I still, even though we didn't solve this in that particular one, sending the controls or with the post message, it was very interesting, because I haven't done much with this kind of sending keystrokes. I've stayed away from it overall, so that was interesting.
Yeah, we were able to click the window in the background without activating it,
right?
But we missed the part about actually getting a drag to work.
Mm-hmm. But at least we now understand why. That was really good. Catch that you noticed that I never would have thought of moving the mouse on there and then realizing it's still getting its bearing from where the mouse is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, great.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Joe.